Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm always grateful to have you in my day. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers. It's always a pleasure to have you here as well. And I also would like to take a moment and hold space for those that are facing challenges of all kinds. We've had some very wild weather and some destructive weather, and it has, amongst other things, it has really left people reeling. So I do want to hold space today for those that find themselves challenged no matter what the circumstance. We truly are nearing the end of the month of February, and we find ourselves in a place of night, dark night if you will, but night before the new dawn that is March. We've spoke about this for quite some time, all of the energetic shifts that will be occurring in the month of March, and here we are. We're just literally days away. So on the 7th, we've got Saturn, which has a 3-year per sign cycle, or 29 and a half years all the way around the zodiac. Saturn's going to enter Pisces on the 7th of March. That's going to have a shift relative to restrictions and ownership and lessons. Then on the 23rd, we have Pluto is going to enter Aquarius. This is a longer cycle, 20-year cycle. To go all the way around the zodiac, or complete orbit, is 248 years. So it's been 20 years since Pluto changed signs, 3-ish or so since Saturn changed signs. Then on the 20th, also in the month of March, we have the spring equinox, and that is signifying the spring season in the northern hemisphere and the fall season in the fall season in the southern hemisphere. It also signifies a new zodiac year, a new beginning. And interestingly enough, the very next day we have a new moon at 0 degrees 59 minutes of Aries. Boy, that is all about new beginnings. Anyway, this week we find ourselves balancing two very different energies, and there is just a massive shift, and it's all right around the same within a couple of days. That is going to give us a voice for lessons that we've learned just a couple of weeks ago when the Sun conjunct Saturn. But anyway, let's get started. On the 1st or the 2nd, depending on where you reside on the planet, Jupiter is going to, at the 12 degrees of Aries, is going to conjunct Venus. I love this energy. So exciting. Jupiter and Venus are both benefic planets. It's the higher octave, lower octave, right? It speaks of optimism. It can mean love at first sight, especially if this is in your natal chart. It may be a thing that you have to deal with on a regular basis, or quite often, should I say. It speaks about expansion, and it can also show supreme luck, very, very lucky days as well. And also we can find our focus turning towards beauty treatments or pleasures of all kinds. Again, that's Jupiter and Venus together. Interestingly enough, as I said, Chiron is right next door at 13 degrees of Aries. And Chiron is our wounded warrior, healing spirit, that's for sure. And Aries, these are all planets or asteroids in the sign of Aries, and Aries is the I am. It's the spark of creation. It's the initiation of a new beginning. You have Jupiter and Venus in Aries, and this speaks about self-respect, self-love, self-care. Chiron wants us to use those means and mechanism for the purpose of healing. It truly is, you're being asked, can you truly, really, truly love and respect yourself without the need to harm others? Because if you have true love and true self-respect, it allows you to be you while holding space for others while they are who they are. And you may find when you stand into your truth and act in a way that signifies who you are, there are others that are opposed to that. The manner in which they voice that opposition, if they choose to, speaks a lot about them. That's for certain. Then on that same day, on the 2nd of March, Saturn and Mercury are going to conjunct at 29 degrees of Aquarius. We talked a little bit about this in the last video. 29 degrees of any sign is that anaretic degree. It is a very pivotal time. It is very condensed energy, but expanded, if you will, very focused and intense. So Mercury and Saturn conjunct at 29 degrees of Aquarius is really a turning point moment where we can go back to the 16th of February when the Sun was conjunct Saturn, at that moment where we really had a moment of a reality check. And you can put words to the lessons that you learned at that time. It's a declaration of, grounded energy and asking you to make a choice to align yourself with who we want to be, right? Can you be yourself? I guess you have to ask. Can you accept others for who they are? Can you do that openly and willingly without wanting to cause harm to that individual or speak out against them? If you have been restricted, owned, diminished by people or circumstances, your voice needs to be heard. You may need to speak out about something that has been a restriction for you over this, Saturn and Aquarius cycle, but it certainly could be ancestral, because keep in mind, the energy right before this had to do with Chiron. So we're talking ancestral, right? This could be lessons that have been carried on through many generations, maybe something you brought into this life cycle. So we are no longer willing to sacrifice ourselves for the purposes that are empty or ego-based. If you speak your truth and they fall on deaf ears, or you are attacked for speaking your truth, it really is time to move on. Saturn, it talks about limitations. Saturn limits us, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can find your power in being powerless. And Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn went into Aquarius back March of 2020. If we go back to that period of time, I believe it was right around the 20th or 21st of March. Shortly thereafter, within hours, if not days, we were in lockdown. We were completely in lockdown as a global community. Talk about powerlessness. What we had to find is our power in that powerlessness. I say thank you to Saturn for the lessons that I've learned while Saturn was in Aquarius, where my power was limited. I certainly have learned a lot since March of 2020 through the restrictions that were imposed upon myself and my freedoms. Like I said, I've learned a lot, and I'm very appreciative, definitely very appreciative for those lessons that I learned. Now, we've got this very opposite energy that's going to be occurring within hours of each other. It's, a combination of lofty, optimistic energy, and then grounded, serious, healing energy, and the application. And finding balance in that, this energy is really asking us to break the barriers of ancestral limitations. First, by using your powerlessness to gain your power. Then choosing to align with self-respect, self-care, for the purpose of healing. I do not know what's going on with my dog. She's going bonkers, so I apologize if that's coming through in the video. Very, very sorry that is occurring. My apologies. People can really talk about being a caring individual and or someone who truly looks and cares, has compassion for their community. However, if you cannot be yourself around them, for fear especially that there's going to be some pushback to you as an individual for who you are, then I have to say that speaks volumes about the other person. Do they really, truly care about themselves? I don't know. That's what's up for grab. Then finally, late on the 2nd and early on the 3rd of March, again, depending on where you live on the planet, Mercury is going to move into Pisces. And Mercury in Pisces is it's not very strong here, so you might find yourself having to work harder to express yourself. Maybe that's what the dog was doing for me. I had to work a little harder to get my message across. Or communicate. It's not going to come as easy, perhaps, as it has while Mercury was in Aquarius. But I'm also going to ask you to be mindful of your communication sources, because Pisces at the three-dimensional level, it can speak of disillusionment or deceit or fear-based reality. So choose wisely when you are hearing communications, or if you're repeating something, just vet your source for certain. If you are still unsure, connect with your intuition, because Pisces is all about intuition. That's a 5-dimensional use of Piscean energy. Your spiritual side will definitely speak to you, right? It'll help you out. And, any external unvetted source could be toxic or promote fear-mongering, which seems to be rampant at this time. And that also goes for self-chat, how you speak to yourself. Well, that is all I have for you this week. And interestingly enough, the card that jumped out this week, I am using the Light Seers Tarot, the deck from Chrisanne. Let me get that up there. I love this deck. It is just so beautiful. I love the artwork on this deck. And the card that came out, no surprise, is the Eight of Cups. I love this depiction of the Eight of Cups. I pulled out my Rider-Waite deck, and it was much more gloomy, talked about really being disappointed and just throwing things down and walking away, where this to me says someone has set down that last-ditch effort of emotional whatever it happens to be, so it can be washed away, and heading for the dawn that certainly is awaiting us for the month of March. Anyway, let's read what the book has to say. Letting go. Releasing that which no longer serves you, a ritual releasing, a time to move stuck energy, walking away, leaving your old reality to pursue a new one, abandonment and perhaps disappointment. Then it goes on to say, she has released her last cup into the sea, and her bowl burning ceremony is over. There you go. That's what the little bowl is. Is it time to walk away from something in your life? Choose your sacred dream, especially when you're feeling disappointed, is one of the biggest acts of self-love that you can enact. When you take the very first step, you begin to choose yourself. There is nothing more healing or more powerful. Find your resolve and untether any anchors that are holding you back. Though your disillusioned heart may require just a little bit of TLC, you can realign your path by shedding outgrown expectations, hopes, people, ideas, beliefs, guilt, or ways of being. If you find yourself exhausted, or confused, or jumping from thing to thing, know that you are entering a mystical period of intense shifting, and of releasing old stories will help you to travel lightly. Go in the direction of epic dreams, happiness, and great meaning. I walk away from negativity and I choose myself, and a rebellious act of self-love. My goodness, that could not be more apropos given the environment that we will find ourselves, energetically speaking, this week. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you liked this video, please do click the like button. If you know someone that could be helped by this video, please do share the good word and share it with them. If you want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button and you'll know when they're coming your way. I am going to be traveling this week. I hope to have a video posted next Sunday. I'll do my best. However, if I'm unable, it will be later when that video is dropped. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. Thank you for stopping in. I look forward to experiencing a wonderful week and the new beginning that's just around the corner. Namaste.